Hi there, this is Danny Flexen and welcome to SecondsOut FLEXpectations, our weekly look ahead to the boxing action to come at the weekend. We're back predominantly to UK action this week. We've got two shows over here, one on Friday night. It's always good to see some Friday night boxing as Matchroom promote their latest Next Gen show in Liverpool. And we see the return of Anthony Fowler from his humbling defeat to Scott Fitzgerald, which I know a lot of you out there enjoyed. I'm not condoning that sort of behaviour, but he's coming back and says he's not going to take anything for granted this time round. Fights Brian Rose, veteran, very much and admittedly in the Last Chance Saloon, up at middleweight, which obviously Fowler last few fights, pretty much all his fights have been at super welter. So it'd be interesting to see if there's an added strength and an energy component for not having to struggle down to 154. He said he didn't struggle before. Against Brian Rose, who appears rejuvenated after spending some time in the US sparring tough Mexicans in the gyms over there. He realises this is his very last chance. Although for Fowler, even though he's still young, if he were to lose back-to-back fights at domestic level, first to Fitzgerald, then Rose, then that in itself could be a kind of set alarm bells ringing for the Liverpudlian. Really interesting main event in that sense. And a good card overall. You know, it's a next-gen show. We're not going to see massive stars or huge marquee fights, but really good action on there. Sean McGoldrick's got a good fight. Lewis Ritson's got a good fight. One that interests me though is the English middleweight title fight between Jack Cullen, who's the champion, and John Harding Jr., who's part of the Dillian White camp, trained by Mark Tibbs, of course. And he's got a really interesting backstory, some of which you can see in interviews he's done for this channel. He got in with the wrong crowd. He started boxing actually quite young, but then fell in with the wrong crowd, crime, drugs, so on and so forth. Ended up in prison for quite a long time. And he remembers seeing Anthony Joshua, someone who he'd been involved in kind of training sessions with at the Peacock gym, watching in his prison cell as Joshua lifted Olympic gold at London 2012, which is quite a poignant thing if you think about it. When he came back out, he had a renewed determination to change his life and to inspire others, and to do so through boxing, which was what he knew. And he's done very well so far. He's unbeaten, but this is a big step up for him against Cullen. Cullen's the more experienced pro fighter. He's fought a better opposition thus far. He's also tall and rangy for a middleweight, whereas it looked at one point like Harding Jr. might be able to make super welter. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that one. Harding Jr. is up against it, but it's certainly not the biggest obstacle that he's faced in his life so far. So it'll be a very intriguing fight to watch. And I'm looking forward to that on Friday night, as well as the main event, of course. On Saturday night, though, we have a huge event taking place in Belfast with Mick Conlan topping at a huge festival in Belfast, Falls Road, right near where Conlan's from, and a host of Irish talent on the undercard. We found out this morning that the event's actually been sold out at the Feile and Phobail, which I probably pronounced incorrectly, but I've done my best. I've been trying to work it out most of the morning. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a huge kind of homecoming event and a community. I think the actual translation is community festival, or the communities festival. So it's kind of bringing people together from different backgrounds, maybe even casual crossover fan base, of course, because the festival as a whole isn't just about boxing. So we're bringing people in maybe who don't normally watch the sport, which is always a good thing. And a relatively tough test for Conlan, the featherweight. Obviously top amateur star. He was supposed to fight Vladimir Nikitin in a rematch from their controversial Olympic quarter-final, I think it was, where Conlan was adjudged to have lost, but virtually no one besides the judges had him losing that fight. And his kind of profane, if you like, reaction to that loss was helped propel him to stardom. And he's had a lot of big fights for someone so early in their pro career. But to cut a long story short, Nikitin got injured in the build-up, so Diego Alberto Ruiz came in from Argentina. I think it'll be his first fight outside Argentina. He's on a winning run of 10 since 2016. That was the last time he lost. So he presents a relatively tough challenge, and there'll be pressure on Conlan to impress in front of his home fans. This has all been set up around him via Top Rank and MT Clay Global to make him look good in front of his vociferous support. So a little bit of pressure on him. I think if anyone can rise to the occasion, it'll be him. Luke Keeler on the undercard will be another one hoping to rise to the occasion. He gets Luis Arias, whose only defeat has been against Danny Jacobs. He's coming off a draw with the still decent Gabriel Rosado. So that's a tough test there for Keeler. And there's also a British welterweight title fight on the bill between the champion Chris Jenkins from Wales and more of a local man in Paddy Gallagher, and that's a really well matched contest and almost certainly to deliver as a great fight to watch. Now, before I let you go, there is some action taking place in the US as well this weekend in Brooklyn on Saturday night. We'll see Marcus Brown take on the faded but stubborn ghost of Jean Pascal. But I'm more interested in the heavyweight fight between Adam Kovnatski and Chris Arreola, which virtually guarantees excitement. Two brawlers really ready to give it a go. Crossroads fight. Last chance for Arreola. Kovnatski taking a bit of a step up on his way, he hopes, to a world title shot. So that's definitely worth watching as well. Let me know what you think's worth watching though. What are the fights you're most looking forward to this weekend? Who do you expect to put on the performance of the weekend? And what are your predictions for the main fights? Who's going to win and how? Let me know and we'll reply to some of the comments. I'll see you next week, of course, for FLEXpectations, 4:30 PM again on Thursday. But I'll be back on Monday with reflections to look back on the action that's taken place Monday, 4:30 PM. Thanks for your time.